Let us get to the Miller Lite Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline. It's a Tuesday morning. Time to recap the week that was in Week 15 of the pro football season and see how we did with the WCTCAM.com Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. And another week and another loss to my guest, Doug Wells, the general manager, Catena, Mercedes-Benz of Edison on Route 1. Doug, good morning to you, and I think after one more week, it will be mathematical elimination time for me. So I'll give you an early congratulations on this one, my man.
Good morning, and I had a rough week too.
Yeah, you had
a lot of upsets.
There were, yeah. You had 9 right. I was only able to manage 7 right. So now the lead, it is a 12-game lead with 2 weeks to go. It's going to take an absolute miracle for me to catch up. So before I concede, we'll try one more week coming up next week. Joe in Monroe Township, congratulations to him. He was the WCTC winner this week. Now, that's 2 in a row for Joe in Monroe Township. So congrats to him. He's making a run. He's not the CTC leader, but he's got a couple weeks left to go as well. Doug, before we look back at the week that's just wrapped up here, what's the vehicle you're driving in this week here?
I'm driving a very, very sexy and fun to drive car. I'm driving a 2019 CLS 53. This is an AMG car. It's the CLS is, as people call it, it's the Ray Donovan car, but this is the newly redesigned body style.
Nice.
Interior. Just super, super good looking and super fun to drive.
When a guy calls a car sexy, that's serious stuff. So I got to get a look at one of those, definitely, man. All right, the week that just wrapped up, we go all the way back to last Thursday. What a game that was with the Chargers visiting Kansas City. And just when we thought Kansas City had them, there's the Phillip Rivers magic again. And they pull out a last-second win to pull into a tie at 11-3 with Kansas City. Did you think that the Chargers had a chance at all in that game, Doug?
I remember I told you I like the Chargers because they're fighting to get into the playoffs. So I picked the Chargers on that game. The game was super close, and Chargers finally, with all the last-minute losses they've had, where they should have actually made, won a game, especially over the years. Mm-hmm. They finally won the one they needed to.
Yeah, so they're pulling to a tie now. Now, Kansas City still has the tiebreaker because that Charger loss to Denver might come back and haunt them and keep them from winning the division. But if they win their games, Kansas City loses somewhere along the way, the Chargers would win the division. But that's a statement win for the Chargers, I thought, on Thursday. 2 games on Saturday. Houston, no problem with the Jets. We had no trouble with that one there. Cleveland goes to Denver, and Denver has been in the playoff conversation, but I think after they lost to Cleveland on Saturday, you can kind of take them out of there. Believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Doug, we're going to get to Week 15, and the Cleveland Browns will still be mathematically alive in the playoffs. I can't believe it.
Yeah, they're playing extremely well, and you never you have one team show up versus another team. Depending on their style. And they've cost me a lot of wins because I've gone against them, and it's always bit me.
Yeah, me too. Deion Sanders filled in for Rich Eisen on WCTC yesterday, and they were talking about the games, and somebody, one of the co-hosts, made a mention about they're due for a win or due for a loss, and he's like, what exactly does that mean? You get a schedule, you play a team, you go out and you try to win the game. There is no due to win or due to loss. And when he said that, it made all the sense in the world. So I'm not even due for a win, and you're not due for a loss. So that all kind of makes sense. Also on Sunday, the Bears finally beat the Packers in Chicago and wrapped up the division. Anybody scared to play the Bears in the playoffs, Doug? What do you think?
I think the Bears are a tough team. They've got a couple of losses that I was surprised they lost, but their defense is playing extremely well, and their offense most of the time comes out to play. They've got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, we'll see. Someone's going to have to go to Chicago in that first round of the playoffs there, and I don't know if anybody wants to play them or not. With this young quarterback in his second year, we'll see how far the Bears are going to go. Lions lose at Buffalo, of course. Every time I take the Cat team, they lose. Baltimore staying in the playoff chase for a wild card. They beat Tampa Bay. Atlanta, no problem over Arizona. Cincinnati, no sweat over Oakland. The Giants, I had the Giants beating Tennessee. That might have been the worst performance that I've seen of the Giants in a long time. Did you catch any of that game?
I did, and it looked like, that pouring rain, it looked like they just did not want to be there. It's almost like they wanted to push the time clock forward so that they could go back home.
They asked the umpire, can we just run the clock the whole game? Maybe you're right. But Giants lose to Tennessee. Minnesota over Miami. Minnesota still in that wild card chase there in the NFC. Washington goes to Jacksonville, another Cat team loss. Dallas Cowboys shut out for the first time in like 15 seasons or something. But Dallas still in charge of their own destiny. Can they pull it out and make the playoffs, Doug?
I don't know. Dallas for a long time had their previous quarterback, as we all know. They would get awfully close, and then they would call it the choke.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen to this young quarterback. He's a nice kid. I just hope that he could find a way to muster up to pull that team together.
Well, they're still in first place by a game. If they win out, they make the playoffs. But I don't know. They play the Giants at MetLife that last week of that season. So there could be a division championship on the line for Dallas when we get to that game. Seattle goes to San Francisco, loses to the 49ers. That was a big upset there. Also, maybe the best game of the weekend. How about Pittsburgh beating the Patriots? I had the Steelers in that game. Did you take New England or Pittsburgh on Sunday?
I had New England.
Okay.
And, that was an awfully tight game.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh looked like they should have had more points on the board. When it got down to what it got down to, their defense stepped it up.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, 2 games left to go as well, and they're right there in the wild card chase. Good game on Sunday night. Philadelphia Eagles staying alive. They go to L.A., beat the Rams. All of a sudden, the love affair with the Rams, I think, is over. Philadelphia, 2 games to go. They're very much alive, and the defending Super Bowl champs, they got one push left in them. Doug, what do you think?
It looks like they want it, so, I took the Rams last week, and the fact that they went into L.A. and did that shows you that their goal is to get to the playoffs.
Yep, they have the Houston Texans next week, and then they wrap up the season against the Redskins, and there could be a division title on the line there, too. So a lot will be determined after next week's game. And the game last night, Monday Night Football, anytime a Cat team plays, it seems like they lose lately, and they did again last night with the Saints. 12-2, number 1 seed in the NFC. They go to Carolina and beat the Panthers by the score of 9-12 last night. So, or 12-9 was the final. So that's the games from this past week. Doug has a commanding lead over me. It looks like I'm on the hook for a nice lunch or dinner for our winner. The thing that might be in my favor, Doug, is right now, as we speak, a woman is winning the picks, the WCTC Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. We have a woman who is leading, and first of all, I think that's great that she's showing the guys how this is done. Maybe there's a possibility that a woman might not want to have a gigantic meal like a guy would want. You think that might work in my favor, Doug?
I'm going to go with she'll love Steak 85.
She probably will. If she knows this much about football, she probably love nothing more than to kick back with a giant steak dinner at my expense. So,
and you got to remember, I told you once again, I picked that restaurant because they're big time Rutgers supporters.
That's right.
And all that stuff. So
that's right.
So it's we give away the Rutgers tickets, so I figured it all tied in.
It does, and looks like that's where we're going to be headed very soon. But Doug with his 12-game lead over me, and whoever our winner is, they're going to get a great remote control car, courtesy of you, Doug. And this car is so cool. I had a chance to see it a couple times, and this thing is so much fun. And that's the grand prize that you're going to be giving away. So that's real awesome. So get your picks in. Week 16 just about upon us. WCTCAM.com. We got 2 weeks to go, and we'll see where we are from there. But it looks like it's going to be a Doug Wells victory at the end of the day, Doug. So thanks, my man. We'll preview the games on Thursday, and happy driving and enjoy that ride, my friend. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.